Well, welcome back. We're working on our graphical user interface application development using Lazarus and free Pascal. And today is part 15. Very good. Well, we are picking up where we left off from part 14. We're still working on the user change functionality in our application. And that is this window right here. And we've already written the code to select a user in here, click the button, and then it finds the user in the file, and it populates these boxes here with the information, and it sets one of these radio buttons to either user or administrator, depending on what's stored in the record in the file. Today we need to move on. The user will then the administrator in this case, the administrator will make changes in these boxes. The username is immutable. You cannot change it. All it does is display it. But the administrator can assign a new user ID, and he can assign and confirm a new password. And he can also change the user's access. He can either make them a user or an administrator. And when he clicks change, it will commit all these changes to and overlay the original record in the file. Okay? So that's where we're at right now. Let's go ahead then, and we're going to click the change button, and then over here you can just double click this to create a procedure for the change button click event, or you can go into events and find on click, which is right here, and you can double click this like I just did. Okay, and when you do that, it creates this named procedure in your code, which is now right here, ready to go. Let's take care of something that I detected prior to today, and that is, if you recall, okay, here we go. Right in here, there's a procedure called group box selected user click, and then the procedure is actually right here, and there's nothing in it. And I think what happened was this is probably what happened. We were looking at our form, all right, and I accidentally double clicked on this box. Watch what happens when I double click this. It takes us right to this procedure. And this procedure, while it was already here, if it wasn't here and I did that, it will create it. And I think that's what happened. I accidentally double clicked on that form, and it created this procedure, and we're never going to use it. So what you can do in a case like this is, first of all, you go to the line that defines the class for this form, and you will find the procedure name declared there. And what you want to do is you want to highlight that line. I just did a shift down arrow, and then you just click the delete key, and that's gone. And then you come down into the code, and you do the same for this entire procedure. So you highlight all of this, right? And then you just click delete. There we go. And now that code is gone. It didn't do anything. I don't know that it even really created any actual code, but there's no point in having it laying here in our source code. It's just, it might confuse someone. All right, so we did our change click. Now what's going to happen when we do a change click? Well, I think we're going to have to do some of the things we did when we were adding a user. When we did users add, we validated the password, didn't we not? Yes, we used a function that we wrote called uPasswordEval. So we're going to need that in change, because when you change a user, you're putting in a new password and it needs to be evaluated. So I think we can just take that and hit Control C to copy it. And let's go back into our change code, and under implementation uses, we'll just put it right here. Let's do a shift insert. And now we've added that code. Backspace. And throw a little space in here and make it pretty. There. So now we've got password eval function available to our users change code. And now let's go back to users add, and let's see how we what we did to call that. Here we do right here. Here we do it right here. So we're going to get a status, and we have a constant here, valid password. Where do we define that? So we have a constant valid password. We're going to want that also in our code. So let's just grab that, Control C to copy it, and then we go back over here to users change, and we do a Control V, home. We do a Control V to insert it, Control V, and now we've got our constant in. And then let's go back to our user add, and let's come down here and grab the status. So we have status, and we're going to have an if equals valid, and that's probably going to be all we're going to use. So let's Control C that, and then move back to users change, and we're in our not select click, it's change click right in here. We do a shift insert. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the status of the entered password. Now, is edit user password text what we have in our window? We need to check that. So this is user ID. This is the new password, and it is edit. And I got to get my cheaters on. All right, it's edit new password. So we're going to check edit new password. And actually, before we do that, don't we need to compare it and confirm the password. So we've got to go do another step here. Before we even evaluate that the password fits our rules, we need to make sure that the two passwords match, don't we? So let's go back into our code here. Does evaluate password do that? Let's take a look at that. I don't know that it does. No, because we just pass it the password. We don't pass it the confirming one. So, so we got to do that first. So let's insert a line here, and this is going to be if edit new password dot text, and we can say equals confirm, and the other one is the, what is the other one? It's edit confirm new password. So we need to check if it's equal to edit confirm. So that's edit confirm new password. These are long, but you know, I'd rather have them long and be descriptive than not long enough and too terse for somebody to understand. So, you know, there's a trade-off there somewhere. And I guess you have to decide which way you're going to go with that. Okay. So this is what we do if if they equal, but let's change this to not equal. Okay? That's what the not in front does. It says when they're not equal, it inverts it. So if they're equal, it returns a false, and if they're not equal, it flips it and makes it true. So now if this is not true, then we're going to execute the code between this begin and end. All right. So the next step, we got to do a message dialog again, don't we? So we did this yesterday, or not yesterday. We did this in part 14. So we have a message dialog. Now we can put a caption if we want. The caption will be in the title bar of the dialog box. And we just say we could say password not confirmed. Yeah. We could just say passwords do not match. And I got to put that inside of single quotes, apostrophes. All right. Now the next thing we have is the message. And the message, let's start that on another line. The message is going to be the password and confirming password do not match. Okay, and that's what that does. And now the next thing are so now we have to have the dialog type. So dialog types, that's an MT. So that would be an MT warning. Oops. It's MT warning. That's what we're going to use. Okay. And now we have the dialog buttons. So the only button we're going to have is what? It's just an OK button. So it's message button OK. That's the only button we're going to display. And then the int, the long integer, will be just 0. And that's it. Now, after we display the message and come back, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to put our focus back on the password. So we're going to do edit new password, password dot, and we're going to set focus. Okay, and then we're going to exit. All right. Excuse me. Now, if they do match, now is when we do our status for the matching the password rules. So this one, let's label what this is doing. Okay, so this is check that the passwords match, right? Confirm. All right. And then down here, the next step, we're going to determine if the password meets our rules for passwords. That's what that does. All right. And we're going to do a not. We're going to do a not. So when it isn't valid, okay, we're going to do something. Okay. And we're going to do another message dialog. In fact, I think we wrote a function. We wrote a function that brings back the message. So this was if it was valid. We wrote a function that says password eval message. Okay. Well, we can use that. Here's password eval. Let's take a look just at remember. Yeah, there's a function in here. And it's the integer that's returned by this produces a string that explains what's wrong. So that would be handy, wouldn't it? To give the administrator who's using this an explanation of why it's not working. So we call that by doing what? Oh, we just return the status. Something equals password status. So let's just take this, Control C to copy it, and then let's go back into our code. And now we're going to do a message dialog again. And the message dialog, this, and the caption is, we'll just say invalid password, right? That's what the thing is going to say. And then our message, the message will be that copied thing. So that that function returns a string, and it's just going to plug that string right in here. Okay, and display it. All right. And the message type is going to be what? MT error. A little more severe because this is a showstopper for sure. So we have an MT error, and then we need the buttons. And all they're going to be able to do is click OK. So we'll just use the message button, OK. And then we're to the 0. Now we're not, this message dialog is it's a function, and it returns a number. So it's called t-modal result, and that's an MR and then whatever the result was. We're ignoring it because we're just gonna move on. Once this message is displayed, we're gonna do the same thing we did up here. Okay, so we're just going to we'll just grab this code instead of typing it in again. Hit Control C, move down here, Control V. We're just gonna go back to the password and then exit out. Well, once we get beyond this code, we have the password and the confirming password have been matched, and the password matches, it complies with all of our password rules. So now we're on to storing it, I believe. So yeah. So we're going to use one of our file IO functions, random file IO functions, and excuse me, it's going to be random file write, and we supply it the full path and file name, the record number, a pointer to the record, and the record size. And it'll return an integer indicating whether it was successful or not. So we can actually, if we want to, let's just grab this code here. Control C. I know we're not going to use most of it, but this kind of will help us. So we're going to have an iStatus. So iStat, I want lowercase I, S-T-A-T, there we go, is equal to, and then I'm going to insert that code I grabbed. And so that means I need a variable in here, which is iStat. Not iState. There we go. And it's an integer. Alrighty. Now this okay, and then we need a path name, the path name. So somewhere back here we have the path name. Here is the path name. It's all of this. Actually, I need all this, don't I? So we will just Control C that and bring that down here to where we're writing. And instead of this being in here, delete this. So it's string record number pointer size. Let's see if that's what we end up with. String record number pointer size. That's correct. It's the same as on a read. All right. And we're okay. Yeah, we don't need this. Okay. Yeah. Now user record. User record needs to be kind of global, doesn't it? No, I have to populate it. I have to populate it. Yeah. I need to populate it, don't I? Oh, I got to do the computations too. Yes. Okay, the record number is, we stored it up here as selected recno, right? So this is selected recno. Right here. User rec. Wow. Okay, so user rec. Let's see here. Here's user rec. Let's move this over to where I can see it. So I want to move this tab, this page, left. I want to move it left again. Left. Okay, so now is it visible when I'm... Yes, it's visible. Okay. So user status, that will come from the screen. No, that's going to stay active. And username, that we saved as selected username. And the ID, that comes from our form. We compute the MD5, and the access, user access, comes from the form. So basically, we're going to have to populate all these fields. So that means we should probably just have a copy of user record in here. So this is going to say user rec, and it's of type user rec. Now, I think that type's been included, hasn't it? Let's go up and look. Yes, we include the type right up here, the definition. That's an include file. So we're all set there. So now we have our user record. So now we're going to start, we got to populate it. Right, so at this point we have, you know, I wonder, maybe we should not define it in each of these places. I need it in here because it's, okay, it's reading all of the users. Okay. All right. Maybe we ought to have, an original user rec and a new user rec. You know, that would give us some capabilities. Yeah, maybe what we need to do is define two of them, or at least one of them out here. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's just, this is going to be a big change, but it's going to give us some capabilities here. So this is the original user rec, and it's of type T user rec. Okay, and in these places where we do, this is fine here when we're doing form show. That's fine. But when we're doing select, I don't want that to be user rec. No. I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to read in original user rec. That's ORIG rec, ORIG user rec, USR rec, right. And we could say the size of the type right here. Wrap this. Okay. So we're reading in, we're going to create a kind of a global to this, all this code, an org user rec that is read when we select a user to be changed. That's what we're, and so this record will not get changed in memory. We're going to use it. We're going to use it to populate the screen though. So wherever we say user rec down here, it's original user rec, right? Yes. And so down here where we're doing this stuff, we're going to use original. Let's just copy that. Original. Okay. All right. The name caption, the access stuff, the ID, and okay. Don't I have the confirm field? Don't I populate that? Oh, we don't store the password. I keep forgetting we're not storing a password. Okay, so on change click, before we get to the right, we have to calculate the MD5. Okay, and here we're gonna prepare to store the changed user record. Now, before we actually do this, so here's where we would populate the user rec. Okay. But before we do this, we really should now check to see if the thing's actually been changed. And we don't need to check username because that's immutable. But we do need to see if, so we're going to say if, so if the, so do I, yeah. So if the original user rec dot user ID, right? If that's equal to our our user ID, our edit user ID, if that's equal to edit user, user ID dot text, if that's equal to that, okay, and now we're going to have to compute the MD5. So let's just say MD5 text is equal to, and then we're going to have to, let's just go back to where we do add users. Where's add users here? There it is. I guess we can move that over too. Move the page to the left, and let's do it a few times. Move the page to the left. I think that will do it, won't it? We're working on this. Yes, so let's go in here. This is the user add function, and this is where we calculate the MD5. So right here is where we do it. So we'll hit home and go down and hit Control C to copy it. Control C. And we're going to go back over here to user change, and we're going to hit we can hit Shift Insert or Control V. It doesn't make any difference. There it is. And let's bring this over a little bit. Okay, and edit user ID is correct, and edit user password, and that's going to be edit new password. Okay. Edit new password. We're going to compute the MD5 for that. Now, now we're going to check to see if the MD5 is the same as the old one. That'll tell us that actually we don't need to do this, because this is going to check both things at the same time. Yeah, so it's going to say if MD5 text equals, and now we're going to have our record. So this is original user rec dot, and then this is going to be this. If those are equal, then he did not change the password and he did not change the user ID. It actually checks both at the same time. So if that is equal, and what else is in our record? So this routine can't change status, and it only will do users that are active. So, and the username is not changeable. This is, and access is. So all now we have to check is to see if user access has changed. See, if none of these things have changed, there's nothing to store. There's nothing to alter. Even if you hit change and you haven't made any changes, why do it? Why write a record over, two records that are identical? It's not, that doesn't make any sense, does it? So the next one is we have our radio group, user access. So we got to say So if RGP user access dot, and this is item index, if item index is equal to so we're going to have two checks here. So if item index is equal to 0, and original user rec dot user access equals U, that would indicate it hasn't changed. Right? So if this is true and all right. I know I'm thinking here. Let's see. So that encapsulates those two. I'm going to need another parenthesis because I'm going to do an or. End. Got to get this kind of scrunched together a bit more. Running out of room. So let's just get rid of these spaces between the equal signs. There, that gives me some space. And now I can put in the word or without overflowing the line. Okay. And it's or. And then let's just take all of this. We're going to change it. Control C down and Control V. And so now this one says if it's a 1 and it's an A. All right. Okay. So this last parenthesis matches this one here. It's hard to see, but it's actually bold. These are not. So it's matching this one with this one, right? And this encapsulates an or, which is it's kind of a compound thing. Okay, this parenthesis here matches this one here, and this one matches this one matches this inner one here. So it's saying, well, if the access is currently set to 0 and it was a user type access, then nothing changed. So this is saying if this is true, nothing changed. If this is true or this is true, nothing changed. All right? And that's everything that can change, isn't it? Let's go back and look. Yeah. The ID and password, we do that in one check. And then this. So that's all you can change. So we're back to the code, and if all of this is true, nothing changed. Okay? So we'd have a, at this point, we'd have a then begin. Then begin. And we're off the end of the margin here again. So let's see if we can pull some of this stuff back and make it fit. I don't think we're going to be able to. We can delete the spaces around the ands. That pulls it in a little bit. Yeah, we're just not going to be able to do that. We're going to just have to wrap the begin here. So we'll wrap the begin. There we go. And if you have a begin, you must have an end. So that takes care of that. And here we're going to have a message dialog. Message dialog will be what? Message dialog. And it's going to say, what's it going to say? It's going to say, it's just going to say no changes made. And then it's going to say, record not altered, comma, no changes were made. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's good enough. Okay. And, okay. Fight me. Fight me. All right, and then what's next after that? Oh, it's the message type. So we have MT, and this is informational, right? Excuse me. And then we have the dialog buttons. There's just going to be one. It's going to be message button OK. And we have an integer we don't use. Right. Excuse me, I had a cough. Tickle again. All right. And what do we do? Do we clear the screen? Well, we probably just change the focus back to, we probably just move the focus back like we do in these other, after these other dialogues are completed. So we just do this. Yeah. We just go back and set the focus on the password again. Because obviously he's been wanting to, he's trying to change something. Okay. So we've already computed the MD5. So if we get past this point, we can now write a new record out. So what do we do at that point? So first of all, we've got to move the data into the record itself. So we're using user rec. So user rec dot username. No, okay. user status, right? And that's just going to be the original. That'll be original user rec dot status. Whatever it was, it will be again. We didn't change it. So user rec dot name is going to be set equal to original user record dot username, immutable, can't be changed. User rec dot user ID is going to be what it was in the it's going to be equal to whatever the edit, however it was edited. Right. So that's going to be edit user ID text, right? Edit user ID dot text. And now we have the user MD5, I believe. So user, that will change, rec dot user MD5 is going to get set equal to, and we've already computed it, that's MD5 text, right? Is that everything? I think that's everything. Status, name, ID, MD5, and access. Status, access. We got to set access. So we're going to have if RGP user access dot item index is equal to 0, they're an administrator. No, they're a user. Okay, then user rec dot access is equal to you. And else, the only other thing it can be is user record dot user access is equal to A. All right. Now we're done with that. Now we can write it out. So we do it. Okay. So we write changed user record like that. Okay. Separate that a little bit, make it look pretty. And now what could happen? Well, this could come back with a bad status, couldn't it? So we need to test the status. File IO, the write function. Write function is, it's right here. So yes, if it's a negative number, we have a failure. All right. All right. So yes, if I stat is less than 0, we have a failure. And begin. And it's another message dialog. MESS dialog. And we're going to say user change failed. And we're going to say we need to pass back what? The error code? Yeah, I really should write a routine that takes those negative error numbers and makes them something intelligible. I wonder if we could add that. File IO. Could we add a function that has our file error message? I guess we could, right? We can write something clunky. Yeah, let's R file write. We're going to have an R file error message. Let's see, be right after append. Okay. Yep. Let's do R file error message. That, I think that would be a handy function, right? So it's going to be a function, and it's going to be called R file error message, and we're going to pass it an integer, and it's going to be I error. That's an integer. And it's going to pass back a string. It's going to return a string. Yeah. Now we'll just take this and Control C. We're going to copy it. We're going to come down here in implementation. And right in here, Shift Insert. Here's our function. So we're going to have begin and end, right? So we have a begin. Put in the end for us. And we're going to have a constant here. And it's going to be an it's going to be what? It's going to be error messages, and it's going to be an array, and the array is going to have some dimensions of string. And that's going to be equal to this group of things. I think those are enclosed in, what do they enclose those in? Huh. Do they enclose them in these? No. I think they're enclosed in parentheses. I think. I could be wrong. I guess we're going to find out soon enough. So, how is this going to work? So it's going to get, our errors are negative. Our errors are negative. So we want them to be positive. So if, first of all, let's get rid of if it's not an error. So error, if error is greater than or equal to 0, then we're going to have begin, and we're going to just return, we're just going to say our file error message. We're just going to set that equal to no error. No error. There we go. Yeah. And return. Exit. Return. Is it return? No. I think it's exit. Yeah. Oh, whatever. Otherwise, it is an error, and we want to make it positive. So it would be error. Error. Come on, Larry. There we go. Error is equal to 0 minus error. That makes it positive, right? And then it will just index into this array. So we will just say our file error message is equal to error messages, and then give it the error number, error. Oh, error. Right? And exit. All right. Well, actually, you don't need exit. That's the end. It's going to automatically exit, so you really don't need to put that there. So now all we got to do is populate this array with strings, right? So here we have -1, -2, -3. These are comments, by the way, just putting comments in. And then after the comment, I will put the the string value. Okay, so what is a -1? A -1 is file does not exist, right? So that's going to be file does not exist, and comma. Oh, I can't do it that way. Yeah, I can't do it that way. I got to put in curly braces. That will work. There we go. Yeah, I gotta fix that. Fix that. Okay. All right, that fixes that. Now I go to end of that. What's -2? -2 is file open failed. So it's file open failed. Okay, that's that one. And the next one is going to be -3. -3 is seek failed. Record seek failed. Record seek failed for some reason. Okay, and a -4, I think it's the write failed. -4. Yes, record write failed. Record write failed. Period. Yeah. No comma after that because there's nothing that follows that. And this is array one to 4. 1 to 4. Yes. Be interesting to see if this compiles. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this compiles. I guess we're going to find out. Let's save. Control S this that we're in. That saved that change. And I guess we need to save all our changes up to this point. Well, let's go ahead and reference that error function now. Our file error message, right? Is that it? That's what it's called? Yes. I'm gonna do this. I'll just copy this and we'll go back to our thing here, and we're just going to do a shift insert here, and it's going to be istat. That's the status that was returned. Okay, and it's going to be an empty error, obviously, and the message button, all they're going to be able to do is say okay. That's all they're going to be able to do. Yeah, so it's just MB OK. And that should be on the next line. We're running off the edge. So let's do that. And let's see what comes after that. We have the button, and then we have that integer that we don't use. Okay. So after that error happens, what are we going to do? We output the message, and when we come back, we're going to have to do something, aren't we? What are we going to do there? I guess. That's a good question. I guess we just go back to the user's ID field. I guess we just set focus back there, and then they're going to have to figure out what to do. Edit, user ID, and we're just going to set focus. And then do we need to do an exit, or are we done? We're done. We're at the end here. It's just going to go back to wherever it was. Yeah. Okay. let's just try compiling this, and well, we better save it. Control S. There we go. What does this say? The following methods are not in the source. Are not in the source. Remove dangling reference. Oh. I see. You remember we got rid of that. I want to remove the dangling references. Okay. When we got rid of that group box click thing, when we deleted that, we did not delete it from the events. That's what happened there. Yeah. This group box selected thing, and we had on click, that was still in here. So it got rid of it. That's what just happened. Gee. Okay. And I don't know what changed in here. It's saying something changed because it says I want to save this. I'm going to Control S. I have no idea what it's saving because we didn't make any changes to my application. So I don't know how that got set or why at this point. Something triggered it. All right. So we were coding users change. Let's just do a compile and see what happens. Okay. This identifier is not found. Oh, that's because we didn't declare it. We did this on select. Oh, yes, we did. Yes, that's got to be the original user record. Of course it does. I just didn't change it. Okay, so let's save that. Let's move on to the next, see what we get. Compile. Control F9. I could just do a Control F9. It's not the word status. It's stat, isn't it? Yes. So we got to get rid of that. It's also wrong here. It's also wrong over here. I cleared up a few of them. I never declare MD5 text. That's what the next error is. I already know it. You don't see an MD5 text in here, do you? So we're going to say MD5 text is a string. Okay, that fixes that. And that takes care of that one. And it takes care of that one. I think we've got them. So let's just do Control S. And it's function F9, is it? Let's see. Control F9 to compile. We're just going to compile. Control F9. Okay, no, we've got another problem here. This is in users change. If the password meets the rules. Oh, it's not user password. It's new password. That's why. It's called new password. Right? Yes, that's what it is. Okay. So we Control S to save it. And Control F9 just to compile for errors. And we have, oh, we never declared MD5 way up in the uses clause. Way up. See, we never declared MD5 up here, did we? So we got to do that. We got to say MD5. Now we have MD5. And let's save that, and let's just compile for errors. It was successful, so now we can actually build it. We can actually build it and run it. Okay. And it's asking for a user ID, and it's John Smith. And it's John Smith _ 1234, I believe. Tab to the logon button, hit enter. All right, now, users. Let's add some users. How about we add Ron Schmidt. Better do it right here. I can't change it, so. And we got Ron Schmidt, and it's R. Schmidt. R. Schmidt. And yeah, it would help if I put the H in there, I guess. Yeah. And now it's going to be R. Schmidt _ 1, 2, 3, 4. R. Schmidt _ 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's a user. We add him. Bingo, we've got a new user. We have an administrator and a user. Okay. Let's create an administrator that's just called admin. How about that? So we have administrator. We're going to create a dummy administrator, and his user ID is admin, and his password is going to be admin _ 1, 2, 3, 4. Admin _ 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to click this, make him an administrator, and add him. Okay. Well, that's a few. It's not enough to overflow that box yet, but let's see what happens now when we go to users change. Okay, so now we have administrator, John Smith, Ron Schmidt. They're in alphabetical order by the first letter, right? Starting with the first letter. So now we can, I'm going to leave administrator being kind of the one that is the one we're always going to have. Let's select John Smith. John Smith comes up. And now we can change his password. So let's make it John _ 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll confirm his password is John _ 1, 2, 3, 4. And change him. Okay. Well, we didn't get any error messages. So he should be able to log in. J. Smith should be able to log in as with a password of John 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know what I'm doing? That's wrong. I'm displaying that as clear text. That's not going to work. We've got to display those as dots. That's why we're confirming it. Oh boy. We got to change that. So it's just John Smith, and his password is John _ 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got to fix that. So, and then when it's good, we need to clear the screen. And we need to deselect this. So let's get out of this and close everything out. Okay, make sure we're not running. We are not running. Okay. And now we've got to fix that. Let's go to our form, and here, password, both of these. So I'm going to do a shift click on, now we're looking at both of these at the same time, and we go to properties. And in properties, we've got alignment, echo mode. Echo mode is what the problem is. And we want password, EM password for both of those. Okay. So we just changed that, right? Yeah, it's EM password. So let's just pick one box, and echo mode is password, and let's pick the other box, and echo mode is password. So we've fixed that little problem. Then on a good change where there's no errors, we need to clear these boxes, put focus back up here, and deselect the item index. All right. So let's go back to our code, and we are on the on-click event for the change click. This is what we're looking at. And we got all the way down here. So we do need an exit here. We do need an exit here because we're going to have more code that follows this. Okay. So this is successful write. Perform. And now what do we do when we have a successful write? Well, we've got to clear all our entry fields that's on the bottom of the screen. So that would mean, let's see, so we're going to have to clear the panel username, right? Panel username dot, and that's a caption, is equal to nothing. And edit user ID, so edit user ID dot text, that's text, that's equal to nothing. And we got edit new password, so edit new password dot text is equal to nothing, right? Yes. Oops, something went off in outer space here. What just went into outer space? Huh. What did I do? Where did all my components go for this form? Am I looking at this form? Maybe I'm not looking at this form. Okay, and then I want to look at this. Where did all my components go? They just went into outer space. Oh, evidently I must have accidentally done something and clicked on this. This is a search button, and I was searching for nothing. Okay, wow. That's the first time I've done that, so. All right. So we were we were clearing fields, and I'm looking for the one that follows. So it's edit confirm new password. Okay, well, they got to set that to nothing. I'm just going to copy this. What did I just do? Is it Control Z? Yeah. I don't know what I did. I did something wrong. I said I was going to copy something. Yeah, I was going to copy Home, Shift, Control C. Yes, and up, in, Enter, Control V. All right, and I'm just going to put the word confirm new password, confirm. Okay. And now we have to clear the radio group thing. So we got to do RGP, user access. I better make that access. There we go. Dot. And we're going to set that item index equal to 0. 0 because it's going to default to user. Yes, let's just put that in here. Default to user access. Okay, that tells why we're doing that. All right, that clears everything that was in that box, does it not? Check it. Name, ID, password, user access. So that's been cleared. Now what we have to also do something with this box. So we're not going to clear it. We're going to what? I'm not going to clear it. We're going to we're just going to deselect any selections in it and focus it, right? That's what we're going to do. Yeah. So let's go to our code, and here we're going to access list box. So we're going to say list box current users dot, and the item index is going to get set to -1. Okay, that's deselect. Deselect user. And then we're going to set the focus there. Right? Yeah. So we're going to take this, Control C, Home, Tab, Control V, dot, and we're going to set the focus there. Okay. I think that is exactly what we want to do. So this will all happen after the successful write is performed. Okay, let's save this. And let's run it. And we're working. We didn't make any typos. So now we can sign in as admin. And it's admin 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yes, we're now in as admin, and we can go to change, and we can select. That's interesting. It selects administrator, doesn't it? there is something already selected. Okay. John Smith. He's an administrator. Well, let's check our message dialog. Let's just say change and see what happens. Ah! Okay. I wasn't expecting that to be the message, but you know, it makes sense. It says passwords missing in uppercase alpha or lowercase c. There's nothing in there. So maybe what we need to do is, before we check that, we need to see if he changed anything first. That's what we need to do. That will prevent that from happening. So we need to check to see if anything changed first. All right. Determine if the password meets our rules. And here we're determine if any fields have been changed. So what we want to do is we want to take this code. We want to take all of this code and put it in front of this code. So we're going to highlight all of this code like this, and we're going to do a shift delete, and we're going to move up here, and we're going to do a shift insert. Yeah. This end, I need to back that out. That needs to match this if. I had to wrap it. This begin over here. It kind of looks funky, doesn't it? Oh well. That fixes that problem. But you see, our message dialogues are working. They work nicely, don't they? I think they look good. All right, let's save that change, and let's run it again. All righty, and we're now admin, and we're admin underscore 1234, and we're in, and we're making a change. It's going to be John Smith. Select him. Oh, it's doing that again. I thought we changed it. Did I save the changes? I did. Doesn't show anything. Let's see why would that happen? Check that the passwords match. Oh, I didn't move it up high enough. I didn't move it up high enough. I need to move it all the way to the top. Shoot. Okay, we do it again. Highlight all this text. I didn't move it high enough. Okay, delete it here. And go right up to the very top and shift insert it there. Now, save that, and let's run it. Okay, and we're admin 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in. We're changing. John Smith. There he is. Click change. No, it's doing that again. Password missing, an uppercase alpha, a lowercase alpha, blah, blah, blah. Yes. So why is it doing that? I must be sleepy today. I didn't get enough sleep last night. That'll be my excuse. Um, MD5 equals this, and this is equal to this, or this is equal to this, then no change is made. So there's something not working here. I guess we're going to have to put a little breakpoint here and see where we're failing. Original user record. Did I do that properly? I'm just looking. That should be working. Here's where it reads the user records and populates the list box. Okay, that all worked. And select click appears to work. It brings up the record, and it reads original user record at IREC no. It has to rescan the file, and that all appears to work, and it's putting the data in IREC no. Put a capital I there. It should be a lowercase I. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to have to set a little trap here. And where would I set that? I probably ought to set that here. Set my little breakpoint here. Because everything, it's gone through all of this. It's computed this, and it's comparing. That will be available. Yeah, so let's rerun this. That little change we made isn't going to do anything. Let's run it and see what happens. So we're going to get in as admin. And it's admin, better make sure, admin _ 1234, tab to the logon, hit enter. Now we go to files, users, change. I'm going to pick John Smith again, select him. We should hook up that double click functionality, and then we'll have both ways of doing it, but at any rate. So we're going to click change, and we triggered. MD5 text ends in 292D, ends in 7078. Well, that's why. Huh. They're different. Why are they different? It's not letting me view this. I wished it would let me view this. You have to go to this, and then you have to go fish for text. And it's not alphabetical, so good luck finding text. You know? How are you going to find text? Where is it? I don't even know if it's showing it. See what a mess that is? So how are you going to look at what text is? I'm looking. I don't see it. Do you see text in here as I go scrolling through all this junk? They should have at least put it up at the top. Something. This is terrible. I mean, the debugger is fine in most cases, but I want to look at the property text for this edit, and trying to find it. You see what this is bad. This is really bad. I should be able to just hover on text, and it should just give me what the text is. You know? Same here. Now let's see, I won't be able to see that either. So how do you know, what do you do? I guess you have to create two strings in here. And then just, copy the data into them so you can see them. Isn't that a pain? What a pain. Let's kill this. Let's stop. All right, we stopped. Are we running now? No, we're stopped. Okay. All right. Let's this is for debugging purposes. We'll probably just leave it in the code though. So we're going to have ID and password. Yep. So we're going to have, I'm just going to add them at the end here. I'm not going to make them alphabetical. We're just going to have user ID string, user password string. Yeah, I didn't want capital S, string. Not that it makes any difference. It does not. I'm going to tab this over a little bit. All right. And then what we're going to do here is at the very start, we're going to say user ID is equal to, and we'll do this, control, and we'll shift delete. Gonna put user, we might as well use them, and up here and shift insert that, and then we're going to have the user password, and that's going to get set equal to Edit new password text. Control C. Yeah, Control C. And Control V. And we're just going to put user password there. And get rid of that. Now we'll be able to see them. And where are we going to trigger? We're going to trigger here again. All right. That's a breakpoint. I always say trigger, but what I think of is when it goes to execute that line, it triggers it. You know, it triggers the breakpoint. Okay. All righty. Put a space here. All right. Let's save this. Run it again. And we're admin. Admin _1234. Enter. We go into files, users, change. John Smith, select him, change him. So it should have triggered here. Why didn't it? Okay. 292D. User ID. J. Smith. User password. Empty. Oh my goodness. Of course. Of course, there's no password there. What was I thinking? You would have to type his old password in. And we didn't catch the error. The error is no password was specified. Kawabunga. We did not catch that he didn't enter a password. So right here, we got to check to see if any passwords have been entered. Not entered. Entered. Okay. And so we will say if user well, I can say user password in this case. User password is equal to this, or edit confirm new password dot text is equal to this, then begin. We've got another begin that wraps on the next line. You know, all I gotta do is get rid of some spaces here. I think get rid of a few spaces. Yeah. Now we don't need to wrap that. And then we're going to do a message dialog. If we have a begin, we must have an end. Like that. Okay. And our message dialog is maybe I ought to make this more specific, huh? Maybe I ought to make this more specific. Yeah, let's make this more specific. So we're going to do a message dialog. Let's just copy another message dialog and make some changes. Control C that. Control V. Saves a lot of typing. All right. And this is just going to say new password missing. No new password has been entered. Okay. It's informational. There's an OK button, and it's going to go back to new password. And we're basically going to take the same thing and we're going to put it down here in this one, and we're just going to change one thing. Control V. Okay, and that is end. And this is going to say confirming new password missing. No new. What is that called on the screen? Confirm new password. That's what it's called. So we'll just say confirm new password missing. No, confirm new password has been entered. Confirm new password has been entered. And we're going to go to confirm new password set focus instead. All right. That cleans that up. So what we're saying is I'd have to type in his old password to get this dialog down here to trigger, saying there's no changes made. Well, let's give that a shot, right? So let's save what we got and let's run it. Okay, and it was already running. I never shut it off, did I? Let's try this again. Run. All right, now we're in, and we're logging in as admin. Admin _ 1 2 3 4. Tab to the logon button, hit enter. We're done there. We go to users, change. We go to John Smith, we select him. Now we give him his old password, which is JSMITH _ 1 2 3 4. JSMITH _ 1 2 3 4. And we click change. And we triggered. And let's shut that off and continue execution, F9. And Okay. What happened? John Smith, select JSMITH underscore 1234 tab JSMITH underscore 1234. Click change. Record not altered. No changes were made. Okay. Okay. And it goes back here to new password. Is that what we want? Kind of leaves things in a situation, doesn't it? I'm not sure I like that. Maybe after that error message, we should do similar to what we do when we have a successful write. Clear all this stuff up down here and refocus up here. Maybe that's what we should do. I think that would look cleaner, because he's going to have to start over completely. Why would he still want to be on that user? Unless he wanted to go back and change the passwords. I guess it gives him the opportunity to do that. You know, maybe what we need a button is maybe we need like a cancel button on our screen, on our window. Are we running? No. Let's go look at our window here. Change. What would you call that? If I add a button down here that says what? Abort? Well, let's call it abort. Let's put a button down here. And let's call it abort. All right, the caption for the button is abort, and the name of the button is going to be BTN abort. Okay. And I guess we're just going to leave it enabled. And what will it do? It's just going to clear the stuff down here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's selected. Events. We're going to have an on-click event for abort. And abort, we'll just do all this stuff. That's what it'll do. So we can just take this stuff here and copy it. Here. We'll check when we can test that. That was an easy fix, wasn't it? So we'll just save that change and run it. Okay. And we're going to sign in as admin. And it's admin underscore 1234. Admin 4. Must have typed something in wrong, right? There we go. All right, now we go to change. We're going to pick John Smith, select him. And we're going to do J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. J Smith underscore 1, 2, 3, 4. Change. Record not altered. No changes were made. We click OK. It leaves this mess. We hit abort. Okay, and it takes us back up to here, and now we would pick somebody else. We could be Ron Schmidt. Select him. We get Ron Schmidt. All right. Well, that's interesting. You see it's set focus down on new password. It didn't set the focus on the user ID field. Does it do that every time? If I hit select again, what happens? Yeah. I wonder why it's putting the focus there. Has that got to do with our tab order, maybe? I wonder. Let's take a look at the tab order in this group box. That's interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Let's look at our group box right here. And let's look at tab order. Oh? Well, first of all, this panel isn't something you can change. So it skips that. It should go to user ID. Edit user ID is the first field. Am I doing that in my code? So after you hit select, where do I set the focus? Let's go back to our code here. This is on the search. Select. So select. Match on user's name made. I select all this stuff. Ah! I set the focus on new password. I should really set the focus on edit user ID, right? Let's do that. Yeah, we want to set the focus on user ID. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. Well, now we haven't actually changed anything. I guess the next step is to do the change. So let's run it. And let's actually do a change. So we're going to do admin to get in. And it's admin underscore 1, 2, 3, 4 to get in here. Tab to log on, hit enter. And now we go to files and we go to change, and we're going to change. Let's change, what's Ron Schmidt? Let's take a look at him. Okay, so he's Ron Schmidt, R. Schmid. R. Schmid. I better write that down. And I don't remember his password. It's probably rschmidt_1234, which, oh, that's interesting. You have to enter a new password and a confirming password every time. Isn't that interesting? Because I don't store the password. Yeah. So we're not changing him. We're just going to change his password. And we're just going to change it to... let's just change it to Schmidt. Schmidt _1234. Schmidt _1234. And let's change him. It changed him. Okay. Okay. Let's do our Schmidt and see what it looks like. Select them. Okay. He doesn't know the password. So you have to enter, you don't have to change the user ID, but you do have to change the password. Or you have to re-enter the passwords every time. Isn't that interesting? So for an administrator, they're not going to remember the passwords. There's no record of them anywhere. They are going to have to give him a new password every time. Every time they edit this. That, or they have to store his password somewhere. The system doesn't record it anywhere. All it's going to record is you could record the MD5 hash. That isn't going to do you any good. Yeah. Well, we're going to abort this. I'm not going to change him. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the change user screen working today. Basically, we have everything connected and working. So that's where we're going to leave it. The next time we meet, that will be for part 16. We're going to implement the delete function. The delete function that actually doesn't delete anything. It just marks the record as being deleted. Okay. So, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you did learn something from it. Again, it might be that you don't ever want to be a programmer, but at any rate, you probably learned something. And if you like this content, please subscribe. And if you want to see more of it, subscribe. And use the like button judiciously, but I would prefer that you click it for me. And I think that's it for the day. So have a great day.